Hey guys, welcome back to Enigma Climbing. I'm out here in the desert, just cooking. Might be 105 out there. Eventually it'll get to 110, probably. So I'm here enjoying the shade and figured, why not? Let's talk about the necessary evil trip. Been wanting to tell that story for a while, and I know that some of you want to hear it, so here it goes. I'm gonna go into why in the heck did I try something so out of my league and also so far from home. I guess it all started when I opened my YouTube channel in the first place. Just wasn't really where I wanted to be. My climbing was awful, and I kept thinking about all the climbs that I would like to do, and Necessary Evil is one of those climbs. I've always been selective with which climbs I do, and I think partly it's because I've never had the time to climb whenever I wanted. And so I'm really drawn to climbs that have significance and have some history behind them. Well, Necessary Evil is one of those climbs. I guess Chris Sharma did the first ascent back in 1997. And at the time, it ended up being the hardest climb in the US, I believe. And still, it doesn't get very many ascents. It's notorious for being difficult. I like the weather out here in the desert. And also, it is not a very steep climb, so I knew that I would be able to put a fixed line on it so that I could work on it by myself without having to recruit a belayer. Because after all, who wants to sit there and watch me just falling all over a climb all stinking day? And I thought, okay, if I get close enough, then I'll recruit a belayer. But in the beginning anyway, I could just rope solo. After the bouldering season last year, I was feeling pretty good. I felt like I've made some progress in my climbing, some pretty good progress. And I just couldn't hold off on it. I had to go try this thing. I had to see where I was. So, kids had spring break in March, and I decided to take 3 weeks off from work. Started off kind of interesting. My kids decided to join me that first week. I took them to hot springs north of Albuquerque. And I guess like usual with my ideas and climbing trips, they never quite work out how I think. And so we get there early in the morning, and it's cold up there. Elevation, I think, is over 8,000 feet, snow everywhere. And the road is closed. I had no idea. So what do? Well, we can't back down, so we decide to walk it. Ends up being about 5 miles. None of us were prepared for the snow and the cold. We went out anyway. I ended up having to carry her on my neck for most of the way. My older daughter helped a little bit as well. We were all frozen by the time we get to the hot springs, man. My youngest says immediately, "Oh, this is the best day of my life. Can we stay here forever?" And then 20 minutes later, she says, "Okay, I'm done, let's go home." And I was like, okay, hold on. Everything is wet, okay? We're gonna die if we try walking back. So I convinced her that if I could make the hammock warm enough, would she sleep in it? I take all of our dry equipment, sleeping bag, my jacket, my pants. I put my pants on her and my jacket on her and put her in the hammock, and she sleeps for hours while the rest of us just soak in the hot springs. We got back to the car right before nightfall, and yeah, the kids were just dead. They slept in the car. Spent a couple of nights at a hotel before picking up Lena at the airport, and we all went to Los Angeles to visit some family. Then they all leave from Vegas, and I am by myself for a couple of weeks. And that's when the trip actually starts, the climbing trip anyway. So I hike in, and that first day, I decide to put the rope up. So I'm rope soloing up the bolts, brushing the holds, looking at it, envisioning myself doing the moves, and it just doesn't look that bad. But then I also remember Boon Speed talking about this thing when Boon Speed is the one that equipped the climb before Chris Sharma FA'd it. But I remember reading about them talking about this climb and saying how when they first put it up, they thought it was going to be a 13 minus or something instead of 514. And I can totally understand that, because when you look at the climb, I'm up there on the rope and I'm looking at it and I think, seriously, this is it? I'm going to do this thing in 2 days, man. It just didn't look that bad. But let me tell you, right off the bat, when I got ready to try the moves, instantly I realized how wrong I was. This thing was hard from move number one. All the introductory moves that none of the professional climbers talk about are extremely difficult. Gosh. So I tried it for 2 days in a row and basically made no progress, and realized that I was way in over my head. So that's kind of what I did for 2 weeks. I would work on this climb for 2 days, and then I would drive to the Arizona hot springs, hike in, and just rest there, basically. Try to recover in the hot pools. But I also had a small side project. This boulder that I tried last year in March, which ended up being way more difficult than I thought. So this boulder I tried last year and I could barely even do the first move. And the second move was extremely difficult, and the rest of it was just, I wasn't even sure what to do. Probably I would imagine it would be around V10. And when I do this thing, I'll call it Deceiver, since it's so deceiving. But anyway, this time around, I get on this boulder and it's way more doable, which means that I have definitely made some progress in my climbing. Definitely felt stronger. First move wasn't bad anymore. I could pretty much stick it every time. And the second move, very powerful. Third move, you gotta match your hands. And then fourth move, you gotta kind of fall into this finger lock with your right hand. And by the time you're ready to launch for this finger lock, your hands are just right at the tips because everything is slipping off. Even though I was not able to do this boulder problem that first week, I felt like I could anytime I wanted, because I would always go to a tired. So I thought, okay, if necessary evil just goes really badly, then at least I'll come and do this boulder problem, whatever. I end up spending 7 sessions on necessary evil, and each session I'm getting just a little bit better on it. I'm making forward progress, but man, it is not even inches. It feels like it's millimeters. I'm just slightly doing the moves a little bit better. And I remember at one point, I'm on this climb and I have this side pulled down to my hip, and I got this right hand just extended as far as it'll go, and I'm thinking, how the heck did Michaela Kirsch do this climb? Isn't she supposed to be like 5'1" or something? For me, it feels like the moves are just so far apart. But yeah, these climbers though, they're strong. You watch the videos of them doing it, and the videos just don't do it justice. You don't realize what these top climbers are doing. The way they just grab these holds and make purchase with a rock, man. So I'm trying everything. I'm trying to figure out some kind of heel hook, toe jam, just anything that maybe somebody might have missed. And I figure out a different beta in the beginning, getting my foot up high and then using this bubbly intermediate that nobody else uses. It doesn't even have any chalk. But the reason why no one else uses it is because they can just pull through it, and I couldn't. And that's how it was with this climb. Every time that I would figure out something, it was just because I wasn't strong enough to do the actual move. And so It would get me to the next move, but then I got stuck anyway. Well, towards the end, I realized that I can do this climb, but it would take a year, 2 seasons probably, of just working on it continuously, or getting stronger and maybe even losing more weight. Gosh, I don't know. But I realized that I was gonna have to throw in the towel and head back home and try to figure out what to do. And I think I had the most amount of progress that last day, actually, but I just didn't have anything else left in me. I didn't feel like I would be able to make any more progress unless I had another month to be out there. So the drive and enthusiasm kind of dissipated. I'm about to start heading back to Alabama. I'll go to the hot springs one more time and try that boulder problem. I can't, for the life of me, stick that finger lock move. What the heck? It felt so solid too, but I just couldn't do it. Got some bad flappers, had to tape them up. That caused me to lose some friction. And I thought, okay, well, maybe I should rest a day. I'm just antsy, I don't have the patience. So I decide, okay, I know I can do it. I don't have to rest another day. I can do it, let's go. So I go there, and I can't do it. And the entire trip basically ends up with no sends, quite beat up, nothing to show for it, a big fat fail. What's the conclusion here? What have I learned? This level of climbing is the real deal, okay? And I just do not have the fingers to climb something like that yet. So do I give up? Hell no! I'm gonna go back home and get better. How can I muster 5 to 10% more power from this 41-year-old body? And I think I have it figured out. But that's a story for another video.
You get tough by going into the inferno and not by running from it.